Ladies and gentlemen, we want you to stand and we want you to make some noise.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's go racing here at Knoxville.
Only the best go 3 abreast.
It is show time at Williams Grove Speedway.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here at Eldora Speedway, it's showtime!
You got them 4 abreast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaws.
It's time to sit back, relax, and enjoy because, ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime!
Set to do battle for 30 laps. The green flag is waving.
Hello again, it's Wing Nation presented by Drydene, DRF Racing Oil, and by Hercules Tires. Talking sprint car racing, we love it, our favorite time of the week. And Erin, Evernham, and Steve Post here, and we're going to talk about live on-track sprint car racing this weekend. Oh, we're so excited. Erin, I can't wait. We're getting racing this weekend.
Tomorrow.
I know. How about that? Oh, it's going to be a big weekend. World of Outlaws are going to be in Knoxville. The Pennsylvania Posse is going to be in Selinsgrove, and a racetrack in Missouri that we used to do an upcoming calendar all the time. And every week we'd say St. Francis County Raceway in Farmington, Missouri is racing. They're racing. They have a new promoter. Talk about coming under fire as a new promoter. Danny Resinger, and we're going to talk to him about what's going on at St. Francis County, and we're going to learn more about one of these racetracks that's been on our calendar, on our radar for years and years. So looking forward to that. Really going to be fun. So 3 410 races this weekend, Erin. I'll put the smile on your face.
Big smile. It's a start. It's
yes,
happening.
It is. It really, truly is. It is fantastic. It really is. One of our friends, our partners in the sport, they're hoping that people get back to racing because they do so much good work with all aspects of sprint car racing. I'm talking to our friends at Hefner Racing Products. You know, HRP Wings, they are the original recessed rivet wing manufacturer. They use wind tunnel and track performance testing to outpace the industry on design, on innovation, and on functionality, not only for sprint cars. They also have the smaller ones for lightning sprints, for micros, for junior sprints. And the beauty of it is with Hefner Racing Products, they're shipping. They can ship it across the world, and you can ground ship them. So you can ship that big wing and ground ship it so it's economical. Their wings are outstanding, Erin.
Absolutely. You can go to their website. It's easy to shop the entire line of Hefner Racing products, hrpracing.com, from desktop or right on your phone. First-time online orders, you can use a promo code MRN at checkout for 10% off your first order.
For sure. Absolutely great stuff. Hey, let's take a look at some more great stuff. It was from CBS Sportsline last week, and it is the race at Eldora, the World of Outlaw iRacing at Eldora. It's Kevin Swindell. It's Logan Schuchart throwing haymakers at each other. It's our Drydene Diesel all death-defying move of the week.
And now for the Drydene death-defying move of the week, where one driver simply amazes us with their on-track moves.
Kevin Swindell leads into turn 1. Up top as well, second place Logan Schuchart. On the bottom, the third place machine of Brad Sweet. They stay 1, 2, and 3 down the backstretch. Swindell taps the wall. Here comes Schuchart looking for the lead. Kevin Swindell turns it back underneath, and they go side by side into turn 1. Swindell slides up the banking. He'll reclaim the lead. Schuchart's got to run on the inside. Logan Schuchart leads into turn 3. He'll drift up the banking. Kevin Swindell turns hard to the left, comes back at him. They go wheel to wheel across the line. 3 laps to go.
And now 2 laps to go. Schuchart and Swindell putting on a show, trading the lead back and forth, and now it's Schuchart off turn number 4. It's one more time around. Who's going to get it? Swindell and Schuchart side by side for the lead. The final lap of the Eldora Speedway, side by side into 3. Schuchart down low, drifts up, catches maybe a slight piece of the wall. Swindell goes down low, but it's Logan Schuchart getting the win.
That death-defying move was brought to you by Drydene Diesel All Death, the official death of the World of Outlaws and wheelmen everywhere. Visit drydene.com for more information.
Pride. Passion.
Performance. We are are. We are. We are Team Drydene.
Hey Ashley, what are you up to?
Oh, I just stopped by to grab some sage fruit apples. Now I just have to decide which ones.
You can never go wrong with a Honey Crisp. They're light, crisp, and full of perfectly balanced flavor.
Oh, hey!
You could always go with one of their classics, the Gala or Fuji. They're both sweet and juicy.
Grown in the heart of Eastern Washington, Sage Fruit Company works hard on the farm and with their retail partners to provide high-quality apples and pears to consumers all year long.
Well, I couldn't decide which ones. Thanks for the help, guys.
I'll race you to checkout.
Welcome back. It is Wing Nation, presented by Drydene, by DRF Racing Oils, and by Hercules Tires. So glad you joined us. As we talked about in our first segment, there's this little racetrack that we mention a lot, but we don't talk about too much, and we need to talk about them. And they're starting up this season. They're in the state of Missouri, and they are ready to go at St. Francis County Raceway in Farmington, Missouri. And Danny Resinger joins us on the phone. Hello, Danny. Welcome in.
Hello. Thanks for having me on the show.
First off, the last name, did I butcher it or did I do all right on it?
It's been called a lot of things, but it's Resinger.
Resinger. Okay,
Yep.
Resinger. See, I remember that, but it's like Reese's. Okay?
There you go.
There we go. Resinger. All right, cool. That sounds good. Danny, I don't know if I should congratulate you or give you condolences, okay? You get invited to be the promoter of the racetrack that you've loved your whole life, and COVID-19 hits. How are you doing? How are you feeling? What's your level of excitement going into this weekend's race?
We're very excited. We got us a schedule going, and we decided what we were going to try to do, and then this virus hit, so it's kind of turned everything upside down. It's prolonged the start. But then I guess on top of all of that, it has got the excitement going, and everyone's talking, and we're being overwhelmed right now from all over the United States.
Really? Well, that's great news. Are you hearing from people that are going to travel that don't typically run there on a weekly basis?
Yes, we're getting phone calls from California, Wisconsin, Ohio. I mean, we are getting phone calls from everywhere, and all the classes. I mean, I guess in Ben's, Missouri opened up. A lot of other places haven't, and everybody's itching to get their cars out. So I think we're going to have way more cars than we ever thought about at this point.
Well, I'll tell you what, we take the positives with the negatives, that's for sure.
Sure.
Danny, I wanna step back, okay? What led you to becoming the track promoter at St. Francis County Raceway this year?
Well, I mean, I guess there's a lot of things that kind of started the conversation, and me and my brother kind of decided a couple years ago that we wanted to try our hand at doing a little promoting. I've always wanted to have a driving school. So I was kind of thinking about my way out the door, getting out of the race car. I'm still an active driver myself, in a modified. So kind of looking at the future, and, the promoting really wasn't involved. And then all of a sudden my wife comes in one day and says, hey, there's an opportunity that's come up. Maybe we need to sit down and talk. And, once she got on board, it made things a lot easier. It was her idea now. So anyway, we sat down and we've talked, and I told her, I said, as long as this is not your way to push me out of the race car, I'm willing to do anything, So we made an agreement that we're gonna keep racing, and we're gonna keep the tradition of our family going. I have raced at this racetrack for 34 years. This will be my 35th year. My dad raced the very first time that the track ever opened. So over the years, the Resinger family has been there about every year. I'm not going to say every night, but there's been somebody there every year since the day it opened. And as far as I know, there's only one other family that's in that same boat, and that's the Birch family, which is, I think they're in their third generation of racers themselves. So it's a pretty cool little facility, and it's been a long time things going on. I want to continue that family tradition, and everybody else is going to get to take part and share in there with me. As long as the door's open and we get to keep racing, that's all I care about, really.
Wow, that's a great story. Danny, you keep mentioning the family tradition. How far does this go back? Is it generational? And what are your first memories of going to the racetrack, to St. Francis County?
I can remember my grandfather started my dad racing in 1970 at this racetrack. I have a copy of a newspaper clipping that my dad triple crowned the very first night that the track was ever open. Actually, the first two nights. And then another guy that won 8 championships in a row, Tubby Black, won the third night. I grew up watching. That was my two heroes, those two guys. And I drove all kinds of cars. So I drove street stocks. I drove, a little bit of everything. Well, I finally, after starting and working on sprint cars for my dad and my grandpa and helping out, I finally got to drive my own car. And the first time I ever got in a sprint car was in 1997. And I did a little stint till 99. So I drove 3 years in a sprint car and just wasn't I'm used to the big cars. I never could get used to the wing on top of that thing. We took the wing off, and it was a blast to drive, and it scared my wife to death. And she said, "We're not doing wingless racing." So I decided to get back into a modified, and actually, I got out of the sprint car and I got into a street stock, and I won 19 features that next year after getting out of a sprint car. And I was like, man, this is where I'm competitive. This is where I need to be. So I did a couple more years in a street stock, and then I got modified in 2001, and I've been in a modified ever since. Just a blast to drive, and that's where my heart's at. I mean, I go to the track and I watch the sprint cars get the track tuned up for me, just so I can get out there after a while.
That's good. That's great. That's fantastic. It really truly is. Let's be I want to step back to the conversation you and your wife had. There was a chance at the end of last year that this racetrack may or may not open this year. Is that indeed the case? And is this, I mean, maybe someone would have stepped in. We don't know what would have happened, but there was a shot that this place may not open up this year.
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of scenarios that was being laid out in front of all of us. We were hearing, how the story is. It gets told 5 times and it grows every time it gets told. So really, we don't know the truth, except for the fact there was a chance it would not open. They were looking for an active promoter at that point. Let's put it that way. I don't know if it was, we don't know who was involved or who was interested in talking. But my wife got involved in it, and she said, we need to continue what we've been doing. We've spent most of our life here. She grew up around the racetrack. She worked in the concession stand. She worked at the track when we were kids, growing up. We had a lot of our experiences, at the racetrack together before we were ever married. I started racing at 15 years old. My dad raced until 1994. I started in 1985, so we crisscrossed and even running the same classes for a couple of years there. And then I have a brother that has raced I think Dean's raced 21 years, I believe, through the course of the years here at this track. I have 2 other brothers that have drove a little, and I actually have a sister that drove a little at the track. And then now I have 2 sons. I have 3 sons. The older boy, I don't know if you want to call it neglect, but, I was doing my thing racing and he just didn't get a chance. Then 6 years later, our second kid come along, and when they turned 14, Zach come to me and he says, "Dad, I want to race." And I said, "Well, you got to go talk to Mom." I was ready. There's a car. We'll put a car together, but, we got to get her approval. And I don't think we've got that approval yet, but he's been racing and now a track champion at another track that's opening this year, Doe Run. So we're in deep. I mean, we're not getting out, and that was what drove us to this point. We're in so deep as our family in the racing, and we have a little knowledge of the racing side. We have none of the knowledge of the business side, which has been a smack in the face. I mean, it's a whole different world. But we're getting through it. I think we're going to be fine. It's just we got to get our feet wet, and this virus is bringing on a situation that could be one of the biggest shows at St. Francis County Raceway. I mean, it is building up. I hate to say it that way, but it's going to make us step up our game to make this happen, to make this pull off.
Wow. I mean, that would be a wonderful blessing after you and your wife and your family deciding to take over the track and going through what you have to come out and have a great show would be well deserved. What has it been like for you guys since you took over the track? We have this horrible virus come along, everything gets shut down, and you mentioned the business side of it is something new to you. Are you talking to state and county officials about the opening and schedule? How difficult has it been to navigate your way through this virus?
It's been pretty difficult because we don't want to make any mistakes right off the bat, so my wife is talking to the health board, and she's talking to the state officials and trying to get all the licenses and all the things that you have to make this run. There's a lot behind the scenes that no one ever sees. And we went through the steps. We've did what we needed to do to be approved to open, and I think everything's going to be fine. It's just there's been a lot of conversations, and we've backtracked ourselves 2 or 3 times to make sure we're covering all the bases. And we want to provide a good family experience here, but we don't want to put anybody in jeopardy. So we're trying to take the precautions to keep what we have to do to make it safe. We don't really know what all we're going to have to do, to keep everybody. We're now, for the first time ever, we're going to have a live stream program starting at 7 o'clock Saturday. So anyone who can't make it or who don't feel comfortable, they can tune into that, and for $15, they can see what's going on at the racetrack and stay involved. Not everybody is comfortable with getting out. The ones who are, man, come on, because we want you all to be here, but we don't want to put anybody in a bad spot. We want them to take care of themselves and be courteous to each other and do what we need to do to get through this.
Very well said. And I love the live stream idea. We deal with pay-per-view and everything, and I love that it's your racetrack. St. Francis County, your racetrack is doing it. You can kind of see what it is, and in complete honesty, you can reap some of the reward of investing in it. That is for sure. Danny, I have a question totally away from this and that, but one of the things that fascinates me about 410 sprint car racing is we have the World of Outlaws, the All-Stars, the Pennsylvania Posse, California, the Midwest. And there's two tracks that fascinate me, okay? Butler Motor Speedway in Michigan, and I've actually been to Butler because our hotel when we go to Michigan is close by, and it's one of those standalone 4 tracks. And your track, your 410 track down in Farmington, Missouri, how tough is it to keep the 410s going? There's been some great racers that race there at your racetrack. The 410 tradition there at your racetrack, where did that come from? Why is that so critical to what St. Francis is?
There's an old story that I was told as a kid growing up. When the sprint car started at Farmington, St. Francis County Raceway, they could run a 283, I believe was the cubic inch limit on the motor. Well, there were some guys who were cutting numbers out of the back of the block, and they were actually putting the new numbers in for the bigger motors. And we all push the gray area. You got to go faster. You got to go faster. So it just kept progressing until it got to where it was at. This was a full-blown just outlaw track. Whatever you want to put in that thing and run. They run big blocks at one time. Some of the guys did, and they just found out that was too heavy and it wasn't making the horsepower, the longevity of the small block. So that's how, to me, that it would come. In our shop, watching what was going on, we all just kept building the bigger engine, and anything we could stuff in the crankcase to make power, we were trying it, So there's been a lot of guys come along that has raced at this track, a lot of very good drivers. We have a short track nationals champion that races at our track every week. He won it in 2005, Tim Montgomery. There's a lot of guys that race at this track. They're from this area that we're budget racers. We don't have big funding. We don't have big sponsors. It's a big family. This place is in a mecca of drivers. There's a lot of cars in this area that, they can't afford to go travel, but they're here. And that's why this track exists. They just keep coming back year after year. And the family tradition, these guys are bringing up kids. Tim's got a kid that's in, I think he's going to be in a multi-some this year. He was driving a outlaw cart. They've been going to other places and racing, and he's going to be a good driver too. There's a lot coming up here that it's the future. That's why I'm getting involved, because there's future in this area. These people want racing in our area, and we're going to keep it going.
Man, I'll tell you what, that's a beautiful story. And talking future racing, just fell here in my office. Look at that. I'm so excited about the future. The office is falling apart here. What happened? Look at this. Darren Pittman just fell off the wall driving the Hefner car.
Hey, we had a guy lived right here in Farmington. His name was Mike Thurman, was crew chief for Darren Pittman. I met him right here in Farmington.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. Awesome. Good stuff. Danny, I'm telling you, I love hearing what you guys have planned for this weekend. I plan on checking out the live stream on Saturday night. You can find that out by checking out the track's website, and you've got that. We appreciate the time and sharing your passion with St. Francis County Raceway with us here on Wing Nation.
Hey, thank you very much, and I hope that we can pull this season off. We don't want to let anybody down, and I think there's big things coming.
You got it. Thanks, Danny.
Thank you.
Wow, what a fascinating season it's going to be out at St. Francis. Can't wait to see how Danny and the rest of everyone fares out there. And it all starts this Saturday night. Plan B Sales, founded in 2010. They started as a Lionel and Chase Authentics apparel distributor, but this thing has grown. Now Auto World and Greenlight Collectibles, as well as Brand Art and University of Racing lines. They have a huge inventory at planbsales.com.
They have partnerships with Kyle Larson, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Christopher Bell, and many other drivers. Again, you can use a promo code For Plan B sales, it's promo code MRN, free shipping on orders over $20.
All right, stay with us. More Wing Nation in just a moment.
Pride. Passion.
Performance.
We are Team Drydene.
Power isn't born, it's built over time. For over 65 years, Hercules Tires has been providing the muscle to move more drivers, whatever the vehicle, whatever the terrain, and we back it with a powerful protection plan. So wherever the road or the trail takes you, we have the selection, value, and strength to get you there. Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength.
Welcome back. It is Wing Nation, presented by Drydene, by DRF Racing Oil, and by Hercules Tires. Our friend at Hercules have the spring rebate coming on. Go to HerculesTires.com/spring rebate. You can find out how you can win up to a $70 Visa gift card. With a qualifying purchase of 4 Hercules Tires, they'll give you the store location. They'll give you everything you need right there at HerculesTires.com/spring rebate. For this special deal. It runs through the end of May, that is. Erin, Evernham, and Steve Post here. And Erin, I'm telling you what, I'm excited about what Danny's got going on out there at Farmington.
Me too. I loved it, just hearing his passion for the sport, the history, what him and his wife are doing. I think, fingers crossed they have as big of a show as they're hoping.
Yeah, absolutely. And a great season down the road for sure. Another group of our friends that are hoping to have a really good season is the ASCS folks, Emmett Hahn and gang out there. And they might be a little closer because they have some Missouri tracks. Missouri is the state right now that is open the quickest.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I would suggest, folks, that you keep an eye on the ASCS site. Now, it may not be a national tour event, maybe a regional tour event, but I think everyone's going to watch St. Francis. Everyone's going to watch Knoxville. Everyone's going to watch Selinsgrove, and stay tuned. And the beauty of it is, Erin, one of the things, we talk about this, well, we've got to announce schedules at PRI in December. We don't have to announce anything because everybody is chomping at the bit.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're sitting here on a Thursday and say, hey, we're racing on Friday night, you're going to get everyone there. So you can check it out at ASCSracing.com. That's ASCSracing.com. And I'll be anxious to see when we might see some ASCS Racing Regional or the Lucas Oil National Tour. So great stuff. Great talking sprint car racing as always, Erin.
Absolutely. Looking forward to a big weekend of watching live racing.
I know. Dirt Vision on Friday night, the World of Outlaws from Knoxville. The Cushion on Saturday night. The Pennsylvania Posse from Selinsgrove and St. Francis County Raceway, their very own live feed. You can go to their website and find that. It's also linked up on their Facebook page, and you can find that live feed as well to watch the racing out there. So lots of racing action this weekend. Support them. Hey, I want to also mention one thing, okay? Those of you, okay, I'm going to get on my soapbox here real quick, okay? Those of you who subscribe and then do Facebook watch parties, now's not the time to do that, okay? Now is not the time to do that. I understand that, but now is not the time to do that, okay? We need these pay-per-views to be as robust as possible, or we're not going to see any of it. So there, on my soapbox, there you have it. How about that? Even got a soapbox moment in there. Hey, we appreciate everyone joining us here this week. Coming up, Cruz Pendragon joins us on Wing Nation, presented by Sage Fruit on MAV TV. For Erin Evernham, I'm Steve Post. Thanks for joining us here on Wing Nation.
This has been the Wing Nation Podcast. Find Wing Nation on wingnation.com, Facebook, YouTube, or your favorite podcast provider. The Wing Nation Podcast is a production of the Motor Racing Network. All rights reserved.